I think it's official that we can say that Phantom Knights is probably going to be the best deck of the format based on these very early PPG top winning list. I'll be like the 33.8% of you guys have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can get to 101,000. PPG breakdown is on your screen here. We're going to look at first, second, third, and fourth deck list here in a second. So we had 5 PK Brave decks. We made our tier list earlier in the week. Nobody's really caught off guard here by this when we say that we think the Phantom Knights is going to be the best deck. And looking at these tournament results pretty much tells me what we were already assuming. The Phantom Knight engine, interacting with the Brave engine, just makes things so much more powerful at the end of the day. And I honestly, I think it's very intriguing to see like the power scaling shift change here in the meta. Now, we also had 3 Invoke decks. We kind of had a feeling that, well, we lost 1 Nadir Servant, all right? Anybody surprised by that? No? Okay, so you got a very light consistency hit here. Alistair still does what Alistair does best. There's no change whatsoever from that. So with that being established, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Invoked is still sitting at the dinner table doing what it does best. We had 2 10-Yi Sword Soul Fiber decks, aka we're Synchro Turbo, baby. This deck has gone through its next stage in evolution. We're basically using Halki Fiber X-Blaze to build these Synchro boards and laugh at the opponent while we use the 10-Yi cards, which are free bodies, by the way, to just capitalize and laugh at the opponent. We also had 2 Virtual World lists out of this event as well, which I'm not too surprised either. See that deck coming back. It did look like we had some interesting stuff. One of those Sword Soul lists, I believe, got second place here. Then we had 2 Eldritch. Oh, Eldritch is big, scary. Oh my god, it's ruining the format. Add 2 spots in Top Cut. Alright, this is what happens when the community throws a giant, crabby, angry fit when the deck doesn't even go that nuts. And I mean, one of the variants was DPE Brave as it was. Alright, now for the Rogue category here, we also had 1 Medolche, so the Candy Treats made it in. It's actually very interesting. That deck can break some really weird boards, and considering hand traps kind of have fallen down slightly in terms of playability, I mean, you're just going to scythe lock your opponent every single game that you can. Can't say I'm really surprised there. And then also, Tri-Brigade made a slot into Top Cut as well, still proving that that deck, even though things have kind of shifted away from their favor after losing some of the crazy bird up support that they really had going for it here, you definitely see that they've still maintained that presence. Not a crazy dominant presence here, but this does pretty much focus in on what I think we're going to see the meta be here for that next X amount of time until the next evolution in the format kind of comes, which, hi Branded, I can't wait. Now let's go digging into those deck lists, shall we? Alright, the first list we're going to be looking at here is going to be Charlie Futch's top 4 Sword Soul build a board Auroradon / combo. Now remember, this deck is using Auroradon to basically use shenanigans here. So it's actually kind of cool. Hulk brings out the Auroradon, or makes the Hulk go into the Despot, and then you make the Auroradon, and then the Auroradon summons the tokens, and you Despot 001 back, and then you can make whatever synchros that you really want here. Now, the trade-off with this particular list is Sword Soul Engine generates stuff as well. This puts you into a decent position here. I really wish we could do some better builds or boards with this deck, but I kind of understand what we're doing here. Also, shout out to Ghost Ogre here and Triple E Telly giving us a new outlet here for synchroing. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 copy of Deskbot 001, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre for, you know, obviously being an E-Telly target, triple copies of Ecclesia, triple copies of Moyi, 2 copies of Taie, triple copies of Long Long. We have triple copies of Arara, triple copies of Ashuna, 1 copy of Synthana, and 2 copies of Vishuda. Then, of course, we have triple Emergency Teleport, triple Forbidden Droplets. Hey, man, board breaking with this is super easy. We have 2 copies of the Heavenly Dragon Cycle, only 1 pot of Diseases. Feels real bad. We have triple Sword Soul Emergence, triple Vessel of the Dragon Cycle, and 1 copy of the Sword Soul Blackout. Down your next trick, we have 1 Shaman, 2 copies of Monk, 1 Auroradon, 1 Hulk, 1 copy of Yazi, and then we have 1 copy of the super big Qingying, 2 copies of Chizao, the 1 Ruddy Rose, the 1 Draco Berserker, one Chaofeng, two Boxia, and one Baron de Fleur. Side deck here we have triple Lanzia, triple Crow, triple copies aside from Gamma, one Driver, one Arby's Feathers, triple Lightning Storm, and one copy of Red Reboot here, repping up top 4 for the Sword Soul variant. Next up here is Phantom Knights. Interesting enough, yes, ladies and gentlemen, you have your full Brave package established in the deck. Only 2 Fusion Destiny, because you don't even really need to go crazy about that. This deck's entire dominant presence in this entire event is going to be Scythe-Lock. You Scythe-Lock your opponent, and what's your opponent supposed to do? You can't even really play, like, Dark Ruler no more to break boards at this point, because as soon as something happens is they just Scythe-Lock your extra deck, and then you move on along. Interesting enough, Droplets is back in the format the way it looks now. That way you can basically break those boards and set up. So we have one copy of Artifact Scythe, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, one Celestial with one Dasher, one Psychic Tracker with one Psychic Wielder, 2 copies of the Phantom Knights, one Ragged Gloves, triple copies of Silent Boots, one copy of Stained Greaves, triple copies of Torn Scale, one Griffin Rider, triple copies of Water Enchantress, one Draco Back, triple copies of Emergency Teleport, one Fateful Adventure, one Foolish Braille, triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, 2 copies of Fusion Destiny, one Rhoda, triple copies of Rider of Mesier, and we have triple copies of Fogblade, and one copy of Wings. Who doesn't love additional free special summons? And in the extra deck, we have one Rusty Tin Can, one Vertan Anaconda, one Link Spider, one Unicorn, one Phoenix, one Cherubini, one Dagda, one Axis Code Talker, 2 copies of Breaksword, one Levier, one Nightmare. Then we have one Downer Magician, one Sky Thunder, and one Unfun Phoenix Enforcer. And then we have triple copies of Lancia, we have triple copies of Nibiru, triple Gamma with one Driver, one Arby's Feather Duster, triple Twin Twisters, and one copy of Red Reboot here, wrapping up Hani Jawari's top 4 finish with Phantom Knights. Is anybody really surprised to see that this deck is actually functioning and doing well? No, you shouldn't be. Second place here was actually Virtual World. Now, shortly enough here, now that Destrudo returns to the fray here, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You now have a better synchro engine that you can kind of capitalize with and do stuff. And I see down here that we are also doing Auroradon shenanigans. Alright, I would not be surprised to continue to see the tenacity of this engine possibly getting banned in the future, because we're full steam ahead now with this. We have one copy of Scythe. Look, another deck that wants to do some funny Scythe interactions. We have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, one copy of Despot 001. We have one Destrudo, one copy of Ghost Ogre. Hey, look, it's an E-Telly target. We have triple copies of Gamma. Oh, look, an E-Telly target. 2 copies of Nyan, triple copies of Lily, triple copies of Lulu. We also have triple copies of Lala. We have triple copies of Gigi here. Basic standard stuff. Then we have one Driver, triple copies of Emergency Teleport, one copy Pod Desires, 2 copies of Ready Fusion, and then we have triple copies of Kowloon, triple copies of Qinglong, 2 copies of Chuche, and one copy of Zhuan Wu. Down here in the extra deck, we have one Auroradon, one Hulk, one copy of Fan, one Zeus, one M7, one Beatrice. We have one Senshin, one Jiu, one Vermilion Dragon, one Stardust Charge, one copy of Omega, one copy of Pitch. We also have one copy of Coral Dragon, one Baron, and one copy of Sea Monster of Theseus. Alright? We also have triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, one copy of the Necroral Banshee, triple copies of Token Collector, triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, triple copies of Lightning Storm, one Zombie World, and we have one copy of Red Rebuto here, wrapping up another interesting main deck. Down here for first place, anybody surprised? It's Phantom Knights. Whew! Well, I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, seeing this deck taking down first place here is pretty interesting. So we have one copy of Scythe, one Celestial, one Dasher, 2 copies of Junk Forward, one copy of Tracker, one Wielder, 2 copies of Ancient Cloak, one copy of Ragged Gloves, triple copies of Silent Boots, one Stained Greaves, triple copies of Torn Scales, one Griffin Rider, triple copies of Water Enchantress, triple copies of Emergency Teleport, one Fateful Adventure, one copy of Foolish Barrel, We have the triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, 2 copies of Fusion Destiny, 1 Rhoda, triple copies of Rite of Armesier, 1 Upstart Goblin, that's actually kind of interesting. We also have triple copies of Fogblade, and 1 copy of Wings here. Do keep in mind, we are not playing Draco back in this build, actually, which kind of takes things a little bit away from the strategy, but it's definitely interesting that it worked. We also have 1 Shade Rusty Tin Can, 1 Almirage, the 1 Verte, the 1 Link Spider, the 1 Unicorn, the 1 IP, the 1 Cherubini, the 1 Dagda, the 1 Access Code, the 2 copies of Breaksword, 1 Levier, 1 Downard, 1 Zeus, and 1 Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer. Side deck here we have triple Ash Blossom, triple Nibiru, triple copies of Gamma, 1 Driver, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Feather Duster, and 1 copy of Red Rebuto here, wrapping up some very interesting stuff. And I will say going forward here that I'm very excited to kind of see what will unfold here in the future with this format. And honestly, I'm not really surprised all that much to see what other interesting stuff is coming. So, Phantom Knight format, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave a comment about how much you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I'll see your beautiful face back here later, and there's some more cool awesome content. Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.